Good morning, brokers. Good morning. Welcome to our third quarterly broker call. That seems wild that that's even possible. We're just going to kick it right off, get going. I know Gavin and Jen are at the ICAR golf outing, so we want to make sure and get them going so that if we can stop staring at their much more appealing scenery in the background. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass it over to Gavin for a convention update.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kristen. I apologize, everybody on the call. Jen and I are in the ICAR golf outing today. So Jen's using Zoom, I think, on the phone for the first time. So we'll see how she does. But just a quick update. Convention registration is up and live and rolling. We still have hotel rooms available. So we were able to open up blocks at other hotels. So if you log into iowarealtors.com, you'll be able to see there. And if you don't have any issues, or have any issues, I should say, with registration for any of that, contact Greta, Ashley, or myself, and we can drop our emails in the link down below, and you should be able to get in there then and ask any questions and let us know, and we'll make sure we get you registered and get a hotel room for you. But it is up and rolling. We are very excited. We got a great lineup of speakers, and Tuesday night we'll kick it off with a block party downtown, so I encourage you to sign up for that as well. But happy to address any questions on that in the chat. But otherwise, I'll kick it back to you, Krista.
All right. So just to follow up on that Tuesday night block party, we have the NAR bus. That's Who We Are bus coming in, and really want to make sure that we show a strong presence there and kind of highlight some of our community activities and involvement. So please encourage your agents to attend not only convention, but also Tuesday night's block party. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it right over to Chloe Hecht. She's NAR Senior Counsel. Chloe's going to give us a great presentation. If you have any questions or comments for Chloe, please drop them in the Q&A or the chat, and we will get to them as soon as she is done with her presentation. Take it away, Chloe.
Hi, thanks, Krista. Let me share my screen so you can see the PowerPoint I have. And what I will be sharing today, everyone can see that? All right. So thanks for having me today. What I am going to share today is a litigation overview of kind of what's going on as far as the litigation that NAR is involved in. And we'll also look at how the litigation impacts businesses, consumers, you all, MLSs, and then what you can do as members of NAR to help us tell our story and win in the court of public opinion. So let's look at the litigation background. Here we go. Okay, so in the litigation landscape that NAR is facing today, much of what NAR is fighting, it's misinformation, mischaracterization, and then just a lack of understanding of the industry. There are class action attorneys and other challengers who have a blatant disregard or lack of appreciation for the value that members bring consumers and how local MLS broker marketplaces serve the best interests of American home buyers and sellers. So we have several lawsuits going on. I'm going to focus on the ones on the screen in which NAR and 4 corporate defendants were sued, alleging commission rates are too high, that brokers representing buyers are being paid too much, and that NAR's MLS handbook and code of conduct, along with the corporate defendants' practices, resulted in price fixing. The lawsuits were filed. There's one in Missouri. That's the lawsuit where the named plaintiff is Burnett. And in Illinois, Barnett. And in Illinois, that's where the named plaintiff is Merle. And of course, we totally disagree with these allegations, especially since NAR's rules are very intentionally pro-consumer and pro-competitive. Burnett is sent to go to, Burnett. I keep saying Barnett versus Burnett. It's set to go to a 3-week trial in October in Kansas City. There's a slight possibility that that trial may be pushed, but we're expecting that it will go ahead. And then the Illinois suit, Merle, is still in the early stages, basically because the judge is kind of waiting and seeing what happens in Burnett. NAR is doing a lot to prepare legally for these cases. We're taking every case, every legal development, every claim and allegation seriously, of course. We have a wonderful legal team in place for these suits and to defend NAR's practices and to defend the benefits of local broker marketplaces. And most importantly, our legal experts are confident that NAR will ultimately prevail because we are acting in the best interests of consumers and the laws and the facts are on NAR's sides. And we're emphasizing some key points in connection with this litigation. And it would be great if you could help us educate others about these points. And we're going to make that, well, I'm going to make that request several times throughout this presentation. But first, if you can explain how local MLS broker marketplaces work and how they promote equity, transparency, and market-driven pricing options for consumers. And then the incredible value that you all provide to consumers. We want to make it clear that NAR exists to bring a higher level of ethical practice in real estate and that members look out for their clients above all else. That compensation between brokers and clients is always negotiable, that NAR encourages free market and competition, and that there's incredible value in using a real estate agent or real estate professional, but especially members of NAR who have access to proprietary benefits, resources, and data through membership. So I keep referencing confusion in the marketplace over these claims and over local broker marketplaces and what members do. What is NAR doing to address this? Well, at the end of the day, we all know that members are consumer advocates. We know that realtors, you all lead as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, experts, philanthropists to protect consumers, build generational wealth, and then to contribute to local, state, and national economies. We also know that local MLS broker marketplaces create the largest, most efficient, and convenient markets that ensure equity, transparency, and market-driven pricing for home buyers and sellers. And it's imperative right now that members do all they can to communicate that reality every day in all of the conversations they're having and the messaging channels at their disposal. Because while we're focusing, and our legal team, litigation legal team, is focusing on helping NAR win in the courts, you all help us win, and you're critical to helping us win in the court of public opinion. Now, one thing many people are interested in, of course, is what could possibly happen from this trial. Optimally, the best scenario would be an immediate win at trial for NAR. If the plaintiffs do end up prevailing, there could be a number of different ways that happens. There could be a monetary damage award against the defendants. There could be a court order ordering NAR to change its policies or how commissions are paid to brokers, along with monetary damages. Or there could be no monetary damages, but a court order about changing policy. Most importantly, or something to recognize, is that no matter who wins at trial, this is just the beginning of this process. Whoever loses is definitely going to appeal. And that means that we're not going to have a definitive ruling anytime in the near future. It's going to be several years, I think at a minimum, before we reach a conclusion in these lawsuits. And that's a long time. That's a long time to kind of wait to see what happens. But that doesn't mean there's nothing we can do in the meantime. So in addition to correcting the misinformation being spread by plaintiffs' attorneys, NAR is taking steps to prepare for this range of outcomes. And again, there's two main things that you can do to support NAR and what we're doing in the meantime. First of all, we are really encouraging the use of buyer representation agreements, even if they're not required. They are a win-win proposition for the real estate professional and the consumer. They detail crucial elements of the relationship, what services are being provided, agency relationship, the compensation, what clients can expect, and then the agent's representations and duties, including disclosing if the agent's a dual agent. And also, in the unfortunate event that this is necessary, they can also be helpful in the event of a procuring cause dispute, or if there's a legal dispute with a buyer. And then second, I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's imperative that members continue to educate others that commissions are set between brokers and clients, that the real estate market is competitive as far as real estate services, and then that the value of working with a real estate professional, and more specifically, the value of working with a member of NAR is shared. Another question many have is how the settlement, the July 2023 settlement in the MLS PIN case impacts NAR's case. And basically, it doesn't at all. It has no bearing on it. If you're not familiar, there was a very similar lawsuit filed against MLS Property Information Network, or MLS PIN. NAR was not a party to this lawsuit. MLS PIN is not an association-owned MLS, but the issues were very similar in the case. Notably, in the settlement, MLS PIN does not admit wrongdoing, and the settlement does not address the practice of listing brokers making offers of compensation to buyer brokers. So no impact on NAR's litigation. Another recent development was in the Rex litigation, and this was a positive development. So this was an antitrust lawsuit filed in 2021 in the Western District of Washington against NAR, Zillow, and Trulia that alleged NAR influenced how Zillow displayed listings, and specifically taking issue with Zillow's website redesign that implemented this like 2-tabbed interface that indicated properties listed in the MLS on one tab versus those not listed in the MLS on another tab. In the past couple weeks, the court dismissed the claim against NAR, which is great, especially since Rex, this case was set to go to trial at the end of September. So we were really happy with that development. And basically, I think this case really supports the idea that NAR's policies recognize that each real estate market is different, and that the guiding principle to these policies is to empower Realtor Association-owned MLSs and their participants and subscribers to be an independent local broker marketplace that can best serve the evolving business needs of their markets, and to provide flexibility in light of emerging technology or workplace trends, and really encourage value-driven competition amongst local broker marketplaces. So that was fantastic news, and we were really pleased with that result. All right, so that's kind of the big scenario as far as the litigation on the main cases kind of being updated at the moment, or proceeding at the moment. What does this all mean for consumers and brokerages and MLSs? And even though, again, that end result is going to be years and years away, but we can still look at anticipated impact. And at first, again, NAR's rules are pro-competitive, pro-consumers. So we believe eliminating them could lead to a range of negative consumer impacts, including weakened consumer protections, erosion of access to equal access to listings, decreased efficiency, perhaps the inability to afford buyer representation, and then perhaps the over time for property information to become unverified, inaccurate, and unreliable. As far as you and your businesses, we think removing pro-competitive rules would be worse for all of us. Changing NAR's rules will go against NAR's mission of empowering you to best serve your clients, because NAR's rules do just that. MLSs could see a range of negative impacts, from fewer listings to fewer participants. And this is really why NAR is working so diligently to defend against these lawsuits, so you all can stay focused on serving clients. So we keep asking for help in communicating NAR's the value to NAR defending these lawsuits and what you do into local MLS broker marketplaces. We have resources to help you do that. NAR developed the website competition.realtor that has key points, FAQs, news articles, resources that will help you illustrate how realtors are consumer champions, and also describe how local MLS broker marketplaces are valuable, and also updates on NAR policy changes and the ongoing litigation. We also have a consumer-facing website, realestateCommissionFacts.com, to aid in consumers' understanding of broker services and how real estate professionals are compensated. So that concludes my update on the litigation landscape today. I'll be sharing these slides, but in the meantime, are there any questions?
I don't see any questions in the chat or Q&A. Is there anybody kind of like a last chance to get your questions in here? Chloe, we appreciate your update. I know we talked before the meeting and you will be sharing the slides, so we'll get those emailed out. And if you have any questions, I know Chloe is open to your contacting her, emailing her, and letting her know what she can answer. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, we really just need to make sure that we're as Realtor members, we are as helpful as we can in making sure that we share our value proposition and what we stand for. So I still don't see any questions. So I think you are good. Oh, yes.
Just, I got one. Maybe I can just go up there. Just Chloe, thanks a lot. And I really appreciate the, just everything with we've got a lot of legal opinions that are supporting us. We've got a lot of cases that have gone our way. And all the stuff that you said in there and some websites and stuff that we have outstanding. So you talked a little bit, I'm trying to see the other party side of it. I know that they're errors with what they're doing there, but you talked about like the court, what if we didn't win and the court ordered a change in policy, the way we operate? What kind of things do you see that the other side trying to say, what kind of change of policy with buyer representation, or what are they looking at there if they would order something like that?
You know what? That's a really great question. And I think at the moment, NAR is very focused on handling the trial and not necessarily looking at what possible outcomes may be, because we're a little unsure how the court could address that. That being said, it's certainly possible that other attorneys or outside counsel are having that conversation with their touch points on the team. So if you don't mind, I could get your contact information from Krista and see if there is any specific expectations we have as far as what settlement, or excuse me, not settlement, a court order would look like if there was one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can let Krista follow through with that and just kind of keep that communication channel going that way. So, but appreciate you coming on. Very informative, Chloe.
Oh, I'm glad. And if anyone has any questions after this, something pops up in your brain, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Chloe. Have a great rest of your day, and we appreciate you taking time out. Thank you. All right, we will pass it over to Jen Kingland on Rich's phone to give us a quick update on wholesaling and some legislative action.
All right, can you hear me okay, Krista?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I am impersonating Rich Vogelsang today. Thanks everyone for being on the call. I just wanted to give a quick update on one of the issues that we're looking at for the next legislative session, and that deals with real estate wholesaling. We've heard from some of our local board members, particularly on the borders, that this real estate wholesaling practice is taking place more and more. And basically what that is a wholesaler comes in, and usually they are buying distressed properties. They are offering a contract to the seller. The difference with wholesaling is that the title is never transferred. The wholesaler then markets it to investors. So they're capturing that difference in the price. So say you buy a house for $100,000, the wholesaler does. They then go out and market it to their investors. They might sell it for $150,000. They capture that $50,000. So that's what a wholesale basically is for real estate. So what we are looking at for the legislative this next session in order to address the concerns that people have, because the wholesalers typically are not licensed. So what we want to make sure with legislation is that the wholesalers do get a real estate license, so they're aware of all the disclosures and things like that they would need. Also, we would like them to have their own set of disclosures, letting the seller know and also letting the buyer know that this is a wholesale transaction and they alone will be capturing the difference in price. So although the title doesn't change, it's kind of a wonky deal, but different markets do different things. So we've been seeing an uptick in that recently. So that is an issue that we will be looking at for this legislative session. We do have others in the docket, but I'd really like for any of you all to come to our convention and hear more about the other issues, because we do have a lot and your input is invaluable. So appreciate you being on the call today, and I'd take any questions if there are any.
Any questions for
How's your golf game going so far, Jen?
Well, I've gotten 3 holes in. It's okay. I've seen worse.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking time out while you're there to just kind of give us a quick update. And like she said, more to come, hopefully at convention. So hopefully you can make it.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
All right. And now we are so fortunate to have Joe Jenkins as a member of our, and I never get the title right, so I'm going to let Joe say which broker committee she's on, because I'm inevitably going to not say it correctly. But she's been super involved in making sure that we are communicating well with our brokers and kind of staying on top of the key issues. So I'm just going to pass it over to Joe to let us know what's going on and what she can update us on.
Thanks, Krista. And while I do that, we'll be getting slides on the screens too. Yeah, I am the current NAR Broker Engagement Committee Chair, and our group is actually 4 different groups. And Byron Menke, who is on this call today, he's a part of that group. And in fact, next year, he's going to be vice chair of the Broker Engagement Council. So yes, if anyone gets confused with all of these different areas, so are we. But today, what I want to talk about, and I may be speaking to the choir, but I want to talk about what NAR does for brokers, because even some of us that have been around for time, I don't think we really know how much resources and tools are out there for us. So we're gonna start with that. And as we know, the broker is central to the transaction. We always have been. Now, I'm gonna need help. Thank you, Ashley. So the first, what we're going to talk about, I hope you will do this. I have 15 slides, going to go through this pretty fast. If we have time at the end, we'll have questions, but every single one of the slide packet, 15, will be sent to you. So you will have all of the information that you need at your fingertips. My hope is that you will make an appointment for yourself. Take an hour, take 2, and get in a quiet place and just go through and visit all these sites and take down what would be beneficial for you and your office, and of course your agents. And the first one we have is visiting broker.realtor. And broker.realtor is fairly new. We're trying to do a lot of different touches with our brokers and our offices. And I can tell you, one of the things we do is a broker power hour. And in February, we had 3 different brokers on, one from small, medium, large. And we were all giving our views on retention and recruitment. I can tell you some of the things we did alike. A lot of the things we did very different, and depending by markets. It was pretty well received. And at these broker power hours, typically about 1,000 people will log in to get on them. We've also had a segment on risk reduction. And then of course, our latest one was Lawrence Yoon giving us an economic update. And And of course, when Lawrence gets on, everybody does. So look forward. We're still different topics, but September is Broker Safety Month, so that will be a part of it. So if we could switch. And actually, this is the second part of that slide without the highlights. Okay, there we go. That looks better. The brokers, okay. Training we know is important to all of us, and NAR gives us a ton of things that we can use. First of all, let's talk about the financial wellness .realtor. That site gives you information on retirement, if you're thinking about that, how to get your own portfolio, and just to be able to make it down the road. Again, all of these slides are going to have the websites. And then in the risk management area, that's going to be found under NAR.Realtor. The one thing that's kind of confusing with NAR is that there's not really one site to go to. There's several sites. That's why we're giving you this whole deck of slides. So hopefully you'll have that to use next time. Okay. And speaking of risk, one of the best things that NAR does, I believe, is the videos. They're very short. They don't take very long to watch, but they're the window of the law videos. And there's specific topics every month. And that is an area that I would encourage you to try to sign up. You can sign up for these different areas that you would like to hear about. I can tell you our group actually came up with a source, and I'm going to do old school. I'm just going to show you on my screen. This is called 100. I don't know if it's going to zoom in or not. It's not. It's 179 ways we're worth every penny of their compensation. And that is, you can get this online, and it's a great source, and you may have to tune it a little bit yourself to change that. Okay, Ashley, what do you have next? Well, our slide deck it's having a few issues, but we're going to talk about C2EX next. I'm guessing most of you know about C2EX, and hopefully most of you or all of us are C2EX endorsed. There's also an endorsement, C2EX endorsed. It takes 80%, which would be a huge factor. If there's any offices in the state of Iowa that are endorsed, I would love to know. I would want to personally congratulate you, because that is truly an amazing thing. So, okay, next slide. Okay, and as brokers, we really want to help our new agents in the business. And the site to go to there, you'll see, is the new member site at NAR.Realtor. I didn't even know it was available. And when I went in, it gave you a 30-day plan, it gave you a 6-month plan, and it gave you lots of different engagement emails that you could send out to the new agents. So there is a wealth of information there. Okay, we're going to keep going. I wish I practiced this yesterday on my own and I could click through them and change them right away, but apparently not today when we're on the big site. Okay, for those of you out there that love stats, love data, and all that information, it's kind of a love-hate relationship typically but NAR has more than you could possibly want. The first one here is the housing affordability report and supply. That goes into the talk of balance. What do we have in inventory right now, which most of us are saying that it's pretty low, and what the affordability part. So the next couple slides, we'll talk about others. And if we could move on, we're going to talk about local market reports. Now, this is something interesting, but I'm sorry for those of us in a small market, we're not going to see our individual market. But the reports basically are for, in Iowa, we get Des Moines covered, Cedar Rapids covered, and the Quad Cities. So that's one area. And then, of course, chances are you're going to need a little bit of help and those, but we try to get QR codes too, but please remember, you're going to get all of these slides sent to you directly. The last one is the housing indicators data. I went into that the other day, and just the Q&A alone in that area is amazing. I think it would probably answer most questions that you might possibly have. I don't know if any of you guys know, but our NAR library turned 100 years old. So that's pretty amazing. And the wealth of information in that library is amazing also. And again, these are giving you quick links so you can go to exactly what area that you want to look into. But I guess happy birthday to NAR's library. Now, Chloe did an awesome job of talking about competition and as real estate. And something else we have is called the difference.realtor, is how can we relay what we do, our code of ethics, and how we are different from licensees. Now, there is a 1-minute video here. Ashley, let's see if it works. Pull that up. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to get that today. I can tell you it's the who we are. It is good. It's a minute. You probably have seen it before, but it tells our story in a very graphic way, very visual way. Okay, we have a few more to go through. Ashley, what else do you have?
Oh, I think we lost Joe for just a second, but she's coming back, I can see. So we'll give her just a minute here.
Well, that was interesting.
She's back.
Yeah, it just all right. Okay, competition.realtor. Of course, Chloe already covered that. So I think we can go on, but there's the site to go to. You know, a lot of times we don't know where to go get that information. Okay, now, and benefits. There is a site, the link is before, business benefits with NAR. And I wanted to get a full page with all the logos that you could just see and click on. But there are so many, and it's done alphabetically, that it would take forever, aged up too. So what I can tell you right now, and if you sign up for some of these alerts, you'll get this information. Yesterday, I was offered, GE is offering 35% off of major appliances, free shipping, and you can also invite your friends and relatives for some of these programs. A lot of people may not know about that. So I think that's something good to go ahead and check out. And then we are going to almost, our last slide is the NAR mobile app. That is relatively new. And if you haven't signed up for it, please do, because as you know, as realtors, we are totally on the go all the time. We do probably more business from our cell phone than we ever do sitting at a desk, and if we're lucky to be at our desk. So it's something that we have needed for such a long time, and finally they've given it to us. So please, yes, download that app. And with that, I hope you really take some time to look at all these sites, because it will benefit you, your office, and your agents. And I think no one was long-winded today. We have a few moments if anybody has any questions, because I threw a lot of stuff out at you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Joe. I think we all know that there's so many resources, but to have them like just put all out in one place is going to be super helpful for us. So definitely when you get that sent out, take a look. But do we have any questions from the group?
Hey, Krista, I don't have a question. I just got more of a comment. And Joe, I just want to thank you for what you do for our association. You lean into it. And even looking back at, you talked about commitment to excellence. You were on the beginning, the PAG or the task force that started that whole thing years ago. And you continue to do it today. And so thank you for all our members, what you do to make our NAR, IAR, local boards stronger. You're awesome. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, John. Hey, it's the team effort. There's so many people on today that, well, we're doing this for the right reasons. And it's just to help everybody out. So thank you.
We are definitely lucky to have Joe. And I'm just waiting for that first person to tell you they're the C2EX office. I mean,
yes. I mean, that'd be incredible. If anybody knows, if anyone has an office, please chime up and let us know right now, because that is truly amazing.
Byron, anything that you would like to add, being that you will also be joining Joe on the Broker Engagement Council?
No, I guess the only thing I maybe would add is to the brokers that are on, if you feel, like there's things that you need, tools that you need that you maybe aren't aware of, reach out to Joe, reach out to me, reach out to any of us. We're happy to help you. I think, this is all about raising the bar for all of us. The better we all are, it raises our profession. And Will mentioned, I went to the NAR Broker Summit last year. It happened to be in Kansas City. This next spring, it's to be in San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to spend a very intense day on really learning on what's out there, what tools, getting in touch with other brokers, finding out what they're doing, would really encourage you to consider attending that as well.
Absolutely.
Byron, because that basically is convention in a day or two, and the group isn't huge, so you have access to all these speakers and even some leadership. And I've been to a few of them and I thoroughly enjoyed them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very good one day, very intense training session, and I think well worth the investment that you'll bring back.
Very good. Joe, anything else for us?
I think it's good. This is a good group.
All right. And to that same note, this is your time. So if there's anything else that you guys, we have one more call or one more Zoom this year. So if there's anything that we haven't talked about on the quarterly calls, if you have anything that you want included, please let us know, because again, we want to provide you with the tools, resources, and info to help you be successful as brokers. So if there's anything you would like to add, and at the same token, if there's a better way that you guys would rather receive this information, or if you'd rather have a broker, I mean, any of that, we want to make sure we're doing what makes sense to you. So we really want to hear your feedback on how we can support you as brokers. So, and if there's nothing else from the group, we kept it pretty short today, and we'll get you back on your way. Anybody else? Nope. All right. Well, thank you guys for spending time with us today, and we will see you, I think, in October, I want to say. I'm not looking at my calendar, but in October, I believe. So thanks so much.